Hello, everybody! Welcome to Chocobo Racing. Let's get this started. Just make sure that my options are right, because we want handicap on. We got handicap on. Makes us go faster. Alright, and I'm gonna count down from 3 here. We start story mode. So, 3, 2, 1, go. The menus are very important. We do not want to read the story. The story is very cute, so I do recommend looking it up if you want to see it. It's like a pop-up book, but we want to go fast. We don't want to read the story. So this game is Square's racing game for the PS1. Uses a lot of cute chibi characters from the various Final Fantasy games and a lot of remix music from Final Fantasy games as well. It runs pretty much like Mario Kart or Diddy Kong Racing, where tracks will have items that you get to hurt your opponents or go faster yourself or help yourself. This first track is just a basic get to know the controls, very simple. The special thing that this game has is the ability system. That's that meter in the top left corner. I have the dash ability equipped, so that makes me go faster when it charges up. It's about the equivalent of a haste 2 spell. So the goal of this track is just not to go the right direction, not to crash. We don't want to save either because that takes time. And also between every race, it gives you the option to go back to the main menu, and we also don't want to do that. So we didn't get the start boost there, that's okay. This is the first track that introduces the magic stones. This is haste. You can collect up to 3 magic stones behind you. If they're different types, then they'll all trail behind you in like a little line. But if you collect ones in the same type, then they'll level up. So I have 2 haste to make the haste 2 spell. We're gonna get a 3rd one. And that gives us a really long dash period here. There are a couple spells that we'll get later on that do not level up. They'll just trail behind you and not stack. I'll explain those when we get there. So the goal of this track, along with going fast, is also to beat Mog. Each track is sort of the home to a character, and you want to beat those characters in the races. I missed a spell earlier, so a little bit slow there, but otherwise, pretty good. Now we're on to the 3rd race story mode, and this is where it gets a little unique. In case you're bad at this game, you don't need to beat all the characters. You don't need to come in first place like in, say, Diddy Kong Racing. You only need to beat the home character of the track. So, technically, Mog could win this race, I could come in 2nd, and Golem could come in 3rd, and that would count as a win, and we move on in the story. This track introduces the fire spell. I didn't mean to grab one. It's kind of useless, as it just works as like your homing missile, like red shell, green shell type attack. And since we're always going to be in first, it doesn't really do anything for us. The question mark blocks are going to be a random magic from those available. So right now, you can pick up a question block, and it would be either fire or haste. So like that one was a fire one. characters all have different stats, also like in Mario Kart. So like Golem's gonna be a little heavy and hard to control. Chocobo is easy to control, all around good character. Mog has a little bit better handling, but is a little slower. So, in this level you notice that I used my haste crystal right away. That's because the character in this track, the Goblin, has an ability called Mug. And what Mug does, it'll steal the farthest back crystal in your inventory and let him use it. So we don't want that, so we just need to use everything as we pick them up. The magic introduced here is Blizzard. And Blizzard will, the first 2 levels will put a bunch of slick spots on the floor. And the 3rd level will grab all the characters and surround them in ice and spin them out. You can tell when a character is using magic or their ability by the little icon at the top. Their head will bounce up and down if they're using a magic, and it'll spin if they're spinning out or if they fall off the track. So for this next race, we're going to want to use Goblin, so we can avoid the AI using him, because they will use him with Mug, while we can use him with Dash. Chocobo will be here too using Dash, but that doesn't really matter. This is so we can store our haste crystals for our own use and not have the risk of them being stolen. This is the Black Mage's level, and this is kind of where the tracks start getting a little harder. There's a lot of stuff to crash into and a lot of turns. There's a cage here that drops down on top of you and can trap you, or you can crash into it. The new magic here is... I was lucky. The new magic here is lightning, or thunder, which will send a little zap nearby a character on the first level, and the later levels get to be bigger lightning bolts and more accurate and knock you out for longer. The Black Mage's ability lets his magic level up 1 level, so if he's holding a crystal and his bar fills up, that crystal he's holding will level up 1 more time. So he can get a little trolly if he happens to get good luck with picking up magic spells, like if he gets a thunder. That will home in on us. He doesn't have to pick up as many crystals to do so. So I think right there, Chocobo and Mog got hit a little hard by something. Oh, right at the end. Spin out. I saw that coming, and I'm like, I'm going to hit that, and I did hit it. So from here to just about the end of the game, we're going to be picking Black Mage, because Black Mage can float. And that means he'll avoid any of the blizzard spells on the ground that other characters or ourselves happen to leave. He is a little harder to control, and he does bounce around a lot, especially on rougher, on like bouncy terrain, like hills and stuff. And this is White Mage's track. One of the best songs in the game, I think. And best character, because who doesn't love the White Mage? And her spell is Mini. And Mini will shrink you like a lightning bolt. It has 3 levels, so it can shrink you up to a very tiny character that can only go about 40 miles an hour max. And her ability is Barrier, which acts like a reflect spell. It basically nullifies any magic you would use against her. And there's the triple mini. We're going so slow. So there were plans to make a Chocobo Racing sequel or remake for the DS that unfortunately never happened. I was very looking forward to the game. But this is all we got, so... It's a good game. I think it's pretty cheap on PS1. Comes with a little preview movie of another good game, Chocobo's Dungeon 2. It's a mystery dungeon game that I also like. So this here is Chubby Chocobo's level. I am not getting the fast boosts. And unfortunately, we did get Goblin at the start here. Now, since there's more than 6 characters available, the AI will randomly choose 5 characters along with yours, and you want to hope that Goblin never gets chosen from here on out. But unfortunately, they dropped White Mage and picked Goblin, so we'll have to use our haste crystals as soon as we get them. This is the level that I like the most because it was the first one I played. This game was actually included in one of those demo discs from some PlayStation magazine. I don't remember which one it was. But there was a demo disc with this, and I think Pen Pen Tri Icelon, and a few other games on it. And this was the level that they included. And I remember until I purchased this game that I played that demo disc so many times, because this game was so much fun. So in this level there are a couple hazardous spots, sort of like grass, that you're forced to go over. And that's another reason why we picked Black Mage, because he's not slowed down by those. We are not getting any good haste luck here. And we're getting hit by Mini a lot as well. So this whole end section here is that sort of icy, squishy, grassy type terrain that will slow you down if you're not a floating character. And then we saw Mug in action. The spell that's introduced on this level is Reflect. It doesn't stack, so you can carry 3 of them and they'll all be separate. What Reflect does is either you can use it for a certain timed amount of barrier that'll be on you, or you can let it stay in your inventory, and if a magic is used against you, then it will automatically block that magic once and disappear. Oh hey, we lapped Golem, and we lapped a couple characters actually. So this is Behemoth's level, and we did get Goblin again, unfortunately. Both looks like Mog and White Mage were dropped. So we'll have to be careful about our magic usage, magic stones again. This is the most annoying level because of this canyon area that you just get thrown about if you're not careful with your controls. You can use Mog to make this a little bit easier because he controls better, and there aren't any stage hazards. Oh, he stole my haste right when I was going to use it. There aren't any really stage hazards on the ground to need the floating for, but Mog's a little bit slower than Black Mage. Is it possible to lap them all? If your haste luck is good, it might be possible, yes. Maybe on some of the easier levels. Now let me start over with that. When I started the game, I checked my options to make sure I had handicap on. What handicap does is it makes you go like 30 to 40 miles an hour faster. So it gives, you know, younger players, or if you just want to go faster, an easier time of playing the game. You can turn the handicap off and you'll go a bit slower, and the races do get a little harder in terms of being able to win against the characters, because you'll be going about equal speed to them at top. I should not have used that there. Good old just boost right into the lava. This game can cramp your hand up a little bit, because you gotta be holding down square for your gas button, and then you're tapping the brake on X to slow yourself down to skid and stuff. There is a move called, I guess it's called spin speed or skid speed, where you can spin yourself out completely, and as you're recovering, hit the gas button to give yourself a boost. It's most useful on the earlier tracks, because there's less hazards and whatnot. Less places to fall off of. And it can really speed you up. It's a nice little boost. Little hard to make yourself go in the right direction, though. So I'm going to choose Mog for the last race. Just to get the better controls. And yes, this is the last race already. It'll be time after these 3 laps are done. And once again, it gave me Goblin, unfortunately, so... The host of this race is Bahamut. And this is also the race with the only difference between English and Japanese versions. The Japanese version has no guardrails whatsoever. Oh, I fell off right at the end of the shortcut there. There's a hidden that's a hidden shortcut there. It's hard to hit. I unfortunately fell off right at the end. So I had to pay attention to the time on this track, because at certain points Bahamut will use Mega Flare. And he is using it right now at 45 seconds is the first time. You want to launch yourself off the side of the track. Not like that, because that's after. But when he used it right before the little flare ball started coming down, you want to launch yourself off the side of the track, because the recovery time for falling off the track is less than if you get hit by Mega Flare. So it's about every 45 seconds that he'll use that. So I was at 135, he used it again. And you can see there, you can see the character spinning out at the top, and I'm going right, like, you know, good couple seconds before they're done spinning out. And last one will be about 225 or so. 220. Set far kind of back there. And we got hit by Mega Flare there. Nope, Mega Flare cannot be reflected. I actually don't know where I am on the track. Oh, okay, I was set all the way back there. That was kind of far. That was, like, on the curve right after you're supposed to take the shortcut. I usually don't see that part of the track, that's why I was a little confused. I am getting really bad luck here with the attacks hitting me now. Just completely eating my time. So we might see a third Mega Flare. Fourth Mega Flare. It's going to be at 314. You know, if I can, you know, keep moving here, and there it is, he's going to just completely own me right there. The spell on this track is Ultima. It spins you out for a very long time. And that's time. Really kind of owned me at the end there. Yep, just over 20 minutes. Not bad. My personal best is a 1924, and the world record is a 1707. By Pogio, Japanese runner. The Japanese PSP version, the Japanese version is on PSN over there. It does run a little faster, so you do have a little advantage if you're running it on the PSP. But I highly recommend looking up these credits on YouTube because it's a really sweet song, and they did dub it into English, so there's two different versions to look at. So we're gonna just skip the credits here and show off what you get for beating story mode. So depending on how well you do, you get points. And we got 96. Okay, so we didn't do like perfect. You can get up to 100 points. I think it's like, you know, how many times you fall and how long the races take and stuff. So what you get to do is you get to make your own racer basically, and get to put all those points into different stats. And if you get 100 points, you can put them all into, you know, make a maxed out racer with max of everything. And then you get to name your racer. There it is. You can name your racer and save them to your memory card and use them on special races and stuff. Now there isn't a subcategory for 100 points because if like I did this run for another marathon recently and got a 1930, and that got me 100 points somehow. So if you're going fast enough, you're always going to get 100 points. The other thing that gets unlocked after you beat the game is, I will just show a couple things here. You get to use Bahamut in the Grand Prix and Time Attack, and you also, depending on how many times you beat the game, you unlock special characters. You can get Squall, Sid's Tank, Cloud. So Squall, Final Fantasy VIII was in development when this game came out. So Squall, Cloud from Final Fantasy VII, the Cactuar, a Moomba from Final Fantasy VIII, a classic Chocobo, Aya, Jack, and the SS Invincible. You get those by holding the R and L buttons on the controller, and I think it's up to 9 times you can beat the game with that. And Squall has his own move called Gunblade, speeds you up to take the lead. And you also unlock the special Final Fantasy VIII Circuit track. Which runs you through little bits of Final Fantasy VIII with some of the songs playing, because they wanted to hype up their new game. So, that's Chocobo Racing for y'all. I hope you enjoyed it. And have fun with the rest of the marathon today. It's been a great show so far.